Alrighty, so day two. Ran into some issues yesterday. First was that the turbo was a little bit clocked wrong, so to get an AC compressor back on wouldn't fit, so we had to clock the turbo a bit, and that took a while. And then the thing that took the longest was when I bolted the shifter into the car, it wouldn't line up properly, and realized after that I had put the shifter stabilizer on the wrong mount on the transmission, so there's no room to access under the car, so we had to pull out the whole transmission. Well, not really. We just lifted up the engine and trans and made room in there to get it on. So that's on now. The engine's in, and just got to figure out some wires now. Let's go check it out. Alrighty, so you can see everything's kind of bolted in here now. Core support's mostly on, but it might have to come back off again because there's a couple wires under here that can't remember where they go. And then just need to route some of these a little bit better as well. Need to mount the power steering cooler on, and then add the fluids. So needs coolant oil. And we're gonna prime everything up. Otherwise, I think the only things left are the torque, the suspension stuff. Put the front end of the drive shaft back on because we have to take it off to lift the engine, and then torque the CV axles down. So let's get to work. Alright, so engine bay's mostly figured out now. I realized that the plug here, this one, is for SAI, and I don't have the pump anymore, so it took me a while to realize that there was something missing down there. But the intercooler's all ready to go, all the boost piping's good. I just need to add the fluids and get this cooler installed.
It's 20 seconds till the last call. Going, hey, I lie down, you know it's easy. I like we did it all the summer long, and I'll be anything you ask and more. Going, hey, it's not a miracle we needed. I know I wouldn't let you think so.
I've added as much fluid as I can. Oil's got about just over 4 liters in it. The coolant I bled as good as I could, just squeezing the hoses. It took about 1.5 gallons, I think. Yeah, about 1.5 gallons. The power steering's got big airlock in it, so hopefully when we crank the engine, the pump will kind of suck some of that in. The battery's on. Just double check that we disconnected our fuel pump fuse, which is this one in here, 28. So I think the only thing left to do now is to make sure we're neutral. Check the clutch works. Clutch comes back up. So yeah, prime the fuel pump a couple times just because it hasn't ran in a while. Well, what am I talking about? We pulled the fuse. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. Oh, and then we lost power. That is interesting. All right, back again. So I think the shorting issue was just the battery terminal. The negative wasn't tight enough. I replaced the bolt on it, so probably just wasn't getting a good connection there. So see what happens. All right, so that's crank number 1. Just give it a second here. I feel like my battery's gonna die, but we'll see here. Yeah, that's the battery starting to go there. Try and get the last crank in here. She's dead now, so I'll hook up the charger here, give the engine a couple minutes. I'll double check all the fluids, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back in the car. I let the battery charge for about 20 minutes while I was getting the drive shaft and the heat shield back on. So it should be time to get our fuel pump fuse back in. Grab our key. Try to prime there, prime it one more time. Oops. Get excited there. But let's see if we can get her started here. Alright. We're pouring fluid, let's go find out. And we're pouring gas out of the back. That's great. Let's just yank that fuel pump fuse real quick. Just in case, we'll unhook our battery here. Join you guys at the fuel tank. So here's our fuel leak. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think it's coming from the bottom banjo there. Don't really want to have to pull the tank again just to find out, but rather be safe than sorry. So we'll double check on the banjo there, and hopefully that solves our leak. All right, so I've clamped up the line and tightened up the banjo here. I feel like it was the line because it was actually kind of loose when I was moving the banjo. It wiggled off, so I think that was our leak here. Let's go hook everything up and see what happens here. All right, that's all tight. Make sure I don't have anything in the way of any moving parts. And let's grab our fuse. Get in here. Seem to be missing fuel spark or air. Let's go double check our fuel. And we're leaking still. But now I can actually check that yes, it is in fact the line and not the banjo. So that'll be something we're gonna have to look into before we can get this car started. Alright, so for the meantime, I've just added a double clamped hose onto the stock one. The plastic, I don't have the piece anymore, I can't remember where it went, but the plastic hose was a little bit torn up, so it was leaking from the part where it connects to the banjo here. I'm gonna look for a way to replace that hose, because obviously this isn't ideal. But hopefully we get some fuel pressure to the front of the car now, and we can get the car started. Alright, so we're just gonna double check here with the filter. We're just gonna get the oil system primed or the fuel system, I mean. We'll just get the pump going. Alright, so no leaks yet. So I have a feeling of a bad oil pressure sender. If it won't let me start the car here. It feels good, which it's not leaking anymore, which is a good sign. I'm kind of at a loss here. We've got 4 spark plugs, got all our coils are plugged in. We go to math, so at this point I'm not too sure what we might be missing. Got a little bit of a power steering fluid leak here from our hoses, so I'm gonna have to take the headlight off and address that. But otherwise, you know, everything's plugged in, so at this point just gonna have to get my my laptop and give it a scan and see what we get coming up. All right, so I've made a little bit of a breakthrough here. I honestly not really calling it a breakthrough. I don't actually know if it's gonna work, but I realized that I was using a CH box ECU from a later 01, and that was from the junkyard, and the car was an automatic, and it's not coded for manual. So I feel like that might be my issue here. I have another ECU, the M box from a 01, not an 01.5, and I think it's programmed to manual. I can't remember. So let's get it plugged in and let's see if that's the issue here. I'll pick you guys up right after I install this thing. All right, so got the M box ECU in. Don't know if it's manual or not, but I don't have a blinking ABS light anymore, which is a good sign. And there's no 3 beeps when I put the key in. So let's see. No, but it does solve the other issues. I think I'll just let my battery charge a bit more, and we'll see what happens here. All right, so I just got home. I spoke to my tuner today, and he said an improperly coded ECU wouldn't cause a no start. So unfortunately, that's not the main issue. But swapping the ECUs did kind of solve the 3 beeps and the blinking brake light. So I'll leave that ECU in for now until I get tuned. Just gotta get the car started first. I got the battery hooked up to an actual charger, not a trickle charger, so overnight it'll be charging. Gonna do a compression test once I can get a hold of my buddy's compression tester, and hopefully that shows up good, because a brand new engine, hopefully I don't have to deal with bad compression or, you know, leaky valves or something like that. So timing was good. It checked out when I cranked it all by hand. I'm gonna double check again tomorrow, but I'm kind of leaning towards maybe there's no fuel because that line's bad, or maybe the battery was just too weak to spin the starter for long enough for the engine to start. So I'm gonna get that figured out. I'm gonna scan the car tomorrow with VCDS on my laptop, and then yeah, hopefully I can get that working. But for now, take this thing for a ride. My dad's S2000. I'll see you guys tomorrow.